Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of House Divided. A great weekend of college football and the NFL. Let's go over our bets and headlines and fantasy explosions from last week. I went 3-1 on my best bets last week. The only one that missed was my bias one. I did warn y'all, tough loss, but we'll bounce back. That brings me to 4-4 total this year. Jose went 1-1 this week. The only one he got right was the one he copied from me. Going 2-1 overall. Headlines 3-1 overall. Jose is 1-1. And then the fantasy explosions, we both went 1-2, struggled a bit, bringing our total to the season. Mine 8-7, and Jose 4-4. All right, first order of business. I know what you're gonna say. A&M, tough loss.
I'll keep quiet. I'll let you address it.
Yeah. There's a lot I want to address. Obviously, the scoreboard is not as bad as it was. They just added on a couple of things in the last 4 minutes. But there was some concerns. I would say the main one is we can't tackle. Like, we had Sellers for probably 6 sacks, and we could not bring that man down for some reason. Made him look like prime Cam Newton. Same with Rocket Sanders. We could not tackle that guy to save our life. And a lot of those missed sacks led to points later on where they would have been in a hole. And it was just tough. Another area concern, we could not get a yard when we needed it. 4th and 1 multiple times, could not get it. 3rd and 1, could not get it. They just wanted him more in the trenches, and it showed. Am I concerned? A little bit. I mean, going into it, I wouldn't say I expected a loss, but I expected a tough game. I hope for a win. Obviously, in the back of my mind, I was tough environment, sandstorm, all that stuff. But I'm a little concerned because obviously it makes our road to the championship and to the playoffs harder. But I think we're still a good team. Obviously, losing Le'Veon Moss wasn't the best thing early in the game. Amari Daniels played well, but yeah, I think Reed's still our quarterback. It was just a tough place to play and a tough series of events. Our defense not being able to tackle, and our offense not being able to convert a 4th and 1. But I think we'll bounce back after we have a bye this week. Hopefully we'll get some things right, and then we'll bounce back against New Mexico.
Yeah, we'll see. My big takeaway is the big takeaway is now Le'Veon Moss is done. He's done for the year. That's the backbreaker. But the schedule's easy enough. You should win out until Texas, and we'll see what happens November 30th.
Yeah.
That'll be the biggest weekend on this show ever.
Yeah. Big weekend.
All right, let's continue that on by let's talk about another team that disappointed us Saturday. It's the team I had in my best bet, the Clemson Tigers. Are they done? Are they out of the playoffs with that loss? What happens?
I think they are.
They're done?
Yeah, it's sad to see because I like that team a lot. But considering the two only respectable teams they played, they basically got dominated. Obviously, Georgia's levels ahead of Louisville, but the way Louisville was playing that game, like Clemson was getting dominated in all aspects of the game. And it's not guaranteed they'll make it to the championship. So if they do and they win the title, then yeah, obviously they'll make the playoffs. But I'm not even confident in that. I think Miami would beat them, even though Miami looks shaky at times. But yeah, I thought Clemson would struggle a little bit with Louisville, but not to the degree I saw on Saturday. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that. The only way, in my opinion, they can make it is by winning the ACC championship. Just looking at the standings, they're in 3rd place with 1 loss, same as Pittsburgh, and SMU and Miami are both undefeated. I think Miami's going to win out their schedule. I also don't see any holes for SMU to lose. So I think that's an SMU-Miami championship. Book it. So I think Clemson's hopes are done, unfortunately, because same as you, I really liked that team.
Yeah. It was just, I didn't expect that, to be honest, especially at home.
Any of it.
The crowd looked rowdy. It was honestly the more shocking than A&M losing to me, I guess.
And it's the matter in which they lost. They couldn't get anything going.
Yeah, that offense that was scoring 40-plus points.
40 points a game. We both had Cade Klubnik in our top 5 Heisman.
Yeah, and you can say safely he's out of there.
He's out of there.
Yeah. Speaking of a shaky performance, Georgia barely escaping Miami. I mean Florida, excuse me, not Miami.
Needing an injury to a true freshman quarterback, true freshman backup quarterback to be able to win is not what you want to see from the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah.
That's yeah, go ahead.
I was concerned. I think if DJ Lagway doesn't go down, I think
Florida wins.
Yeah, I think Florida would have won, but obviously we can't do hypotheticals. But even with him out, Florida was in that game till the end. And
yeah, that 34 is misleading.
Yeah, and I think Georgia's offense concerns me. Carson Beck had some awful interceptions.
He's had one of the worst regressions I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is a hot take, but I don't think he's ready. I don't know if it's hot anymore, but I don't think he's ready for the league. He's making a lot of silly mistakes. Yeah. I think that Georgia defense is real, but their offense has been very struggling. Obviously, Trevor Etienne went down with an injury, and that didn't help them, but still, they should be good enough to handle that Florida team with their third-string quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Beck. I don't know if it's that he doesn't have McConkey and Bowers anymore, but there's something wrong. And a year ago, he was the best quarterback heading into the 2025 draft. Now he's solidly around the debate between QB like 5.
Yeah. I think we haven't seen that signature Georgia performance except week 1 against Clemson, but we saw what Clemson is.
Yeah, because I mean, I hate to say it, but against Texas, they didn't even look that good.
Their defense played good, but their
defense played really good. Their offense is what I meant to say. Is what we've been talking about hasn't looked good. They didn't look good that game either.
Yeah, we haven't seen that complete Georgia performance that we expect from them, especially these last 5 years.
Yeah.
Speaking of expectations, Penn State never seems to meet them. Penn State offense has got stopped at the goal line multiple times. What are your thoughts on that game, and are you concerned for Penn State down the road?
I'm not concerned for them. They're not going to play in the Big Ten championship. They're going to be able to make it as the late seed they are now, 3rd place in the Big Ten. They don't play any hard games the rest of the year. And they're going to lose probably first round of the playoffs, maybe second. It's the same story every year with Penn State. Their defense can shut anybody down. Their offense gets shut down by anybody.
Yeah, I agree. That interception, I forgot his name, but that interception in the end zone where it looked like the receiver caught and he basically ripped it away from him was a heartbreaker for them. And even though they started so hot, they offense couldn't get anything going the rest of the game, and Ohio State just had to do enough to squeak out the win. Not really squeak out. They had control of that game because Will Howard also fumbled and went out of the end zone, and they missed a touchdown there. Yeah, but yeah, at Penn State, I think also they'll make the playoffs because they'll win out. They'll have one loss, and they'll be a 7, 8, 6 seed, whatever. And depends on their matchup. I could see them losing round 1, if not round 2 at most.
That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. I mean, just looking at them, it's the same thing every year. When they got Drew Aller, they were finally, this is what we needed. But Drew Aller, while I like him as a prospect in that team, it's just been the same thing.
Yeah. And going to the other side, Ohio State, I think they just punched. I think Indiana's going to be a tough game, but I think Ohio State's just way more talented and they're at home. So I think Ohio State punched their ticket to the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, I really do hope Indiana beats them. I think that would be the greatest story there is. Yeah. But I think they've secured their ticket to the Big Ten championship in a rematch against Oregon, who I think I think they're winning out. I don't think they have a tough game, a losable game left. So
yeah. All right. Let's move on to after every week we're gonna do our top 10 rankings of college football. So we'll do yours first. Let me pull it up.
All right.
Here we go. So walk us through your top 10 here.
Oregon Ducks, they're number 1 last week for me as well. They came in, they handled business. They were in control the whole game. They made Davis Warren look a little better than he is. which I mean, good for Warren. I love his story. But honestly, like, the game was never really in question. Oregon looked great. Gabriel looked great, cementing his Heisman campaign. He's getting up there with the favorites. Oregon stays at number one. Georgia.
Sorry to interrupt. I want to apologize to the viewers. I misspelled Georgia. I was going fast. That's on me.
The University of Georgia. The Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah, they're my number two. As we said, they looked shaky and they might have even lost to the Gators, but they took care of business in the end, which is what matters. They keep the win. They keep second place, in my opinion, because they do have they have a greater win than Ohio State, in my opinion. I think Texas is a superior team than Penn State, and so that's why I ended up leaning towards the Bulldogs instead of the Buckeyes. But right after them, on a team that I consider basically on the exact same tier as the Georgia Bulldogs, it's the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think the most well-rounded roster. When their biggest weakness is Will Howard, I think that says a lot about that team, because Will Howard is playing very solid football right now. After a shaky start this week, though. So the number 4, Miami, there's no explanation there needed. They're undefeated. They've basically cemented their spot in the ACC championship, which I think they win. After that, I got Texas. They were 5 last week. They're 5 this week off the bye. We'll see how they look against the Gators this week. It shouldn't be much of the challenge with Lagway out. Indiana, no need to explain there. They manhandled Michigan State. I can't wait to see them in their big showdowns coming up. Penn State, they fall short again. Indiana's undefeated. They get the nod over them. BYU, undefeated. Love to see it. I want to see the Storm and Mormons win the Big 12 and get their spot in the playoffs. Tennessee, another slow game for them, but I still think they look really good. And then Boise State, they have my Heisman, my pick right there. Another Superman performance from him. So hopefully they keep that going and get that 5th conference championship spot.
Right, solid. I like that Boise State shout. Number 10 is kind of a little weird right now because you can throw in Notre Dame or
Bama or one of those guys. But
Bama, but I like the shout out.
I think, my biggest debate was Boise State, Notre Dame, but I think Boise State's. I think if they play, I think they'd give Notre Dame a punch to the head. So
yeah, interesting. I think Notre Dame wins that game, but I like the shout out. All right, let's go to mine. Kind of similar things, just a couple shuffling here and there. Obviously, Oregon number 1. Besides that first week and maybe to Boise State, they haven't really looked shaky, but that's expected with early games. But they've really dominated everyone they played in. Obviously, a close game with Ohio State, but that's a great team. Number 2, Ohio State. I just think they've had more complete performances than Georgia. Like I said earlier, I don't think Georgia's had a complete game on both sides of the ball. And I think roster-wise, I also like Ohio State slightly better. Number 3, Georgia. Don't need to say much here. Really good team, great coach. Probably will make a run in the playoffs. Number 4, Miami, undefeated. Had some scares here and there, like some calls go their way, but Cam Ward, my Heisman, put up another great performance, 400 yards, 5+ touchdowns. I just think this guy's putting this team on his backpack and just playing pass with Restrepo out there. Number 5, I got Indiana. Since they're undefeated, I give them the nod against Texas, and I think they've, especially recent weeks, dominated good competition, even though they started off slow against Michigan State. And I was like, oh, is the story coming to an end? They come back and just destroy them. And that's why I think they've had more dominating performances recently than Texas. 6, Texas, great team. Obviously, just had a bye. I can't knock them for that. But, great team. We'll see how Quinn bounces back after the bye in 2 tough games. But they should handle business easily in Austin against the Gators. If they don't, I'll be really concerned. 7, Tennessee. I just think with Tennessee, we just got to get used to. They're not that Hendon Hooker, Tennessee. They're not that high passing offense that they used to be. They're this defensive team that runs the ball and puts up the minimum amount of points they need to win. Number 8, I got BYU. Like you said, undefeated. Great story. I think they had like a 4.5 win total coming into the season, so to see them undefeated is crazy to me. Number 9 is Penn State. I was just really concerned about that offense, and obviously they always fall short in big games. I just don't trust their offense and their coach. I don't like it when the coach is heckling the fans. I know that fan was saying some crazy stuff and heckling them, but it's like, just go to the locker room, man. Don't engage. At number 10, Notre Dame. Obviously, they haven't really played anyone, but they have one loss. You can say it's kind of a fluke loss, kind of like a trap game loss, but I think they're a great team, and I think they're better than Bama, and yeah.
All right, looking at your rankings, it brought a question. I noticed that 3 of your top 5 teams are Big Ten teams.
Yeah.
Is the Big Ten the best conference in football right now?
No.
No? You're still going SEC?
Yeah, I just think the SEC is beating up on each other more right now.
Okay,
I think these teams play more. Like Ohio State's going to play Indiana and stuff, I think. I think the top talent of the Big Ten and SEC kind of match up, but overall the SEC is just a better conference.
Right.
But, something that I saw in the rankings that pissed me off and concerned me is, why is LSU ahead of A&M? I just don't understand how that's possible.
They beat South Carolina. That's what matters. Head-to-head doesn't matter.
If the head-to-head was like week 1 or week 2, I get it. We played 2 weeks ago and we saw who the better team was. It just makes my blood boil. Same amount of losses. We have one more win. Obviously, they beat South Carolina. We didn't, but I mean, we just beat them 2 weeks ago. So it makes me question the credibility of those rankings when you put a team that 2 teams that played 2 last weekends with the same 11.
We'll see what the CFP rankings say tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they'll have us near each other, but they should have A&M ahead of LSU.
I think they should. I mean, they showed last year when Alabama had all the momentum going in. They'd come off those big wins. They'd just beat Georgia. They still put Texas above them. So I think CFP does put A&M above LSU.
And that was like an early season showdown. This was it's just the fact that it was 2 weeks ago. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I just wanted to bring that up. Anyway, let's move on to the NFL. My Cowboys lose again, expected. Didn't really watch a lot of that game because I expected, and I hate watching us lose, and it's frustrating because we just suck. Bijan ran all over us, Algier ran all over us, and Dak went down with an injury, and CD was fighting his shoulder out there, and I don't know how his health is doing, but hopefully we can get those 2 back. But if not, just give us the 5th pick in the draft or something. Like, just give up, please.
You want a Will Johnson, someone like that, a Mason Graham, with those elite players.
Just something, man. Going. Just something. I don't know. We because if not, we're gonna end up like 8-8, and that's just awful. Like missing the playoffs and being average. I'd rather be bad and get a better pick. But yeah,
maybe if you'd done like Jerry Jones said and gone all in and gotten Derrick Henry, you'd be up there. But instead, we're looking at Derrick Henry's other team, the Baltimore Ravens. Huge win, huge bounce back win against the Broncos. Are they AFC favorites now? Are they the favorites?
I would say they're the second favorite. Obviously, I still have a lot of respect for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, even though it looks like they're not dominating. They're just squeaking by wins. But till I see Mahomes getting beat in the playoffs by Lamar or Josh Allen, I can't say they're the favorites with the Chiefs still undefeated, obviously, and still making the last 3 Super Bowls. I just can't.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Chiefs are AFC favorites. Even if this year Mahomes and the Chiefs lose to, say, Josh Allen's Bills or Burrow again or Lamar finally, next year we're going in and I'm picking the Chiefs as favorites again. I'm sticking by with that this year. I think the Ravens right now, we don't need to focus on them being AFC favorites. We need to focus them being AFC North favorites, because no matter how great they look, that division beats each other up every single game. Look at them. They lost to Cleveland the week before. The game against Cincinnati was so close. They lost on a missed hold from the punter. they've struggled. They're 1-7 in their last 8 against Pittsburgh. They lost the last 3. And that one win was a 3-interception game from Mitch Trubisky. So I want to see the Ravens overcome their division before claiming them AFC favorites.
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
Y'all haven't played the Ravens yet, right?
We have not played them. We play the Commanders this week, and then the week after that, we play the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. How do you like that game? Do you think you guys are gonna? Do you think
I think it's gonna be. Last year we beat him twice, I believe, when looking terrible each game. I think this Ravens team, surprising to everybody, is better than last year's team. I think this is going to be the same story every Steelers-Ravens game is. Final score is going to be 17-16, 20-17. 14 of the points are going to be scored in the fourth quarter. It's going to be field goal. It's going to be like an early touchdown and then field goals the rest of the way, and then a late touchdown from the team that's going to win it. It's going to be Steelers-Ravens. It's going to be hard fought. I've never seen a team contain Lamar like the Steelers do. It's funny. I mean, I love seeing that. Then again, the Ravens really do have a good way from stopping our offense as well. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I think the reason you guys can stop Lamar so well is because of TJ Watt. He just wreaks havoc.
It's amazing because what we did is TJ Watt keeps him. He means he can't go outside because Alex Highsmith's on the other side.
Yeah.
So the problem is, are you going to go through Cam Hayward in the middle? You can't do that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you guys have I think, obviously, TJ Watt carries it, but y'all all around have the best D-line in the NFL.
I agree with that. I think we're really talented up there. I think we have 2 Hall of Famers on that defensive line.
Yeah. Anyway, my game of the week was Packers versus Lions, and Jordan Love struggled a little bit against those Lions. What did you on that game?
I've seen someone call him the Brett Favre of Aaron Rodgers. I like that. He does the same thing, but they either throw the craziest touchdown you've ever seen or the craziest interception you've ever seen. I have huge faith in Jordan Love no matter what he does. So I think he's a really good quarterback. He'll struggle and he'll bounce back. I'm not worried. I still think they're a top 3 team in the NFC. I think just Detroit might be the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Detroit is the best team in the NFL, the way they're running all over teams with that 2-headed monster. And something that concerned me, I did see Josh Jacobs hobbling a little bit, but the guy had 90 yards halfway through the second and ended up with 95. He clearly was not getting the ball after. Obviously, they were down. But when you're down like 14, like still in the third quarter, like you can still run the ball. And I feel like he was averaging 9 yards per carry. They should have kept giving him the ball. I did see him hobbling a bit, but he was playing a lot and blocking. So if he's fine to do that, just give him the ball because he was running all over that Detroit defense.
Mm-hmm.
And that Jordan Love interception before half where I don't know what he was doing. Awful, and that really swung the momentum and really.
It's the Brett Favre in him. You can't help it when you're Green Bay.
Yeah, no, it was bad. Another 3:00 game. The Rams beat the Seahawks. Are they playoff contenders with everyone back now and healthy?
100%. 100%. Sean McVay, I'm never going to count him out in that offense. I'm not sure. I don't think the entire offensive line is back, so they're going to get even better. You can see what just having one of them does. I mean, even when Puka Nacua got ejected, crazy ejection, did not deserve that, barely threw a punch.
You're only saying that because he's on your fantasy team.
Anyway, they can prove that as long as they have one of those 2 go-to guys, they're going to be a playoff contender. When they have both of them and that offensive line back, I think they're serious NFC West contenders with how hurt San Francisco is. I'm not the most confident person in Arizona. So, yeah, I think 100% I like the Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I think Stafford's got his weapons back. He's dishing it out. Kyron Williams is a beast like he is. That defense is average. But yeah, I think they'll sneak into the wild card and they can make some noise and pull up some upsets on the road. Because when you can pass the ball like that with those receivers, you can beat anyone.
That's what they were last year, and they were so close to beating Detroit too.
Yeah, they were.
Just look at how they played. First game of the year, the only game they were healthy, they took Detroit to overtime. By the end of that game, when they were in overtime, everybody was already hurt. So, I mean, there was nothing they could do in overtime. But during the game, they were playing very solid. So, I think we're going to get closer to seeing that each week.
Yeah. One key takeaway you had from this weekend?
Key takeaway, the Rams, we thought they were going to deal. They're not trading anybody. That's my key. We saw Cooper Kupp might have been on the market. He's not on the market. The Rams, they're in it for this year.
Yeah, I agree. I would say mine is I got to stop supporting my team so hard and wearing jerseys because every time I do, we lose.
I mean, I'll say it. This week, you suffered 2 heartbreaks. I suffered none. The bye week is so graceful. I love it.
Yeah, I think A&M has a bye week, so I'm good on there. But the Cowboys do play again. But that's not even heartbreak anymore. It's just like it's just depressing watching.
At least now you have no Micah, no Dak. CD is gonna be playing hurt if he does play. So at least he's like, I don't even have to watch.
Yeah. But anyway, that concludes episode 3 of House Divided. On Friday we will be dropping our predictions for this weekend's games and the headlines, best bets, all that. So wait on your bets a little bit. But thanks for watching and have a great day.
Enjoy Monday night, guys. Big game, Bucks Chiefs.